Can you hear that? Going knock, 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 knock. If you go back and forth, it sounds like it's coming from right in here. So it's one of these first two cylinders. You can see an injector there and one there, and a coil pack here and another coil pack there. I'm saying it's this first one, maybe the second, or one of the ones between. So anyway, you come over to this side, and you don't hear it near as much. This side sounds pretty good. So we're going to open it up and see what it is. I don't know yet. I have an idea, but we'll see if I'm right. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to pull off the plate that holds all of the ignition coils. You want to unplug this one in the middle. I unplug each of the individual ones too, just because I'm so excited about unplugging them, but I don't think that you have to. I think they all connect here anyway. So anyway, there's 5 bolts that hold the whole thing on. There's one on each end, like there's one down in here, and then up, down, and then one on the very back there also. They're all just 10 millimeter. I'll go ahead and pull those off, and then underneath it exposes the bolts for the valve cover gasket. Alright, so I've pulled the 5 bolts out. They're just stud types like this. The next thing you want to do is you just grab it in the middle, give it a little wiggle, make sure you're free, and then turn it counterclockwise slightly, and then rotate it up and out. And as I said, you don't have to unplug the coil part. I don't know, I just like unplugging them. These are actually a really cool plug design. It's more of a, I don't know, I like this whole design. This whole thing's just awesome. I love the way that the coils all come out together. I also really like the way that they unplug. So the next thing you want to do is undo the pipe for the PCV. If you look down in the back corner pocket, PCV hose. So you just give that a little twist and pull it up. What I like to do is I like to get it so that I can pull it way up out of the way, and that way it'll fall back down. No, but just get it up. If you can get it up without bending it or kinking it to where it's like way up out of the way, then it makes it easier to remember. Haha, that's the way I like it. Easier to remember to put it back on when you're done. So next part's not too bad. You just got to pull these bolts out in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 8 millimeter or 5/16. You can get a bungee or something to hold this out of the way. That's a good idea. There's just not a lot to hook onto unless you go. What I do is I use a tie down strap, wrap it around that one, and then I go clear out to this hole here, and that keeps it out of the way. You'll see that in the next frame, I'm sure. Alright, I did something off camera just to get her done. That's the little vacuum line that goes to the power brake booster. I was looking at the video, it looks like you can't see as well. So anyway, you pull all these bolts out, and there's only 4 of them for the valve cover, and then just wiggle it up and down. If it's really stuck, then you can hit it with a soft-faced hammer right here. It'll break it loose. So you wiggle that. Same thing, counterclockwise. Rotate it down and out. Set it out of the way. And now we're down to business. Now we're where we can do something with this. Basically, these are the ones that were noisy. It was somewhere between here and here. I think it was one of these two. So we're going to pull that and just check it out and see what's going on with them. So this is what the rocker arms and push rods look like. I just lay them out in order of front to back how they came. What you want to do is you want to inspect it, hold it up to the light, and see if you can see light. You can see light all the way through this one. What I do is I clean the end of them off, put my mouth on the clean end that I cleaned. Notice that I'm emphasizing that it's clean. And then I blow over the trash can, poof, and if it doesn't blow through easily, then you know the oil's not going to be getting through it. So I set those down. That's the first thing you want to check. You also want to check before you take it off and just see where these are over the tops of the valves. I'll show you what I mean. Here's the way that they should look. They should be nice and centered over the top of the valve, and everything should be pretty snug. Also check the little seats that they sit down in, those little cradles. Make sure that those aren't getting worn. And check the ends of your push rods. Look at these here. These both look fine. You can see that they're just kind of polished out and smooth on both ends, nice and round. So we know that they're good. I'll check both of them and they're both quite uniform and fine. Now what I noticed on this, bless his heart, is when you go to look at the oil change sticker, the oil change sticker says get her done 178,772 for a 3,000 mile oil change. Turn this on and don't bother waiting for the odometer. It says check oil level. He was low on oil. Look at the odometer, it's 183,298. So that's 5,000 miles past due to have an oil change. Do you think that his lifters are going to suffer from that? You think he's going to get crud in there? Yes. He's going to have hell to pay. And the unfortunate thing about this particular design is that when you look at the cylinder head, this is the cylinder head, you have a narrow opening. Why not just do a bigger opening and just have a guide or something? I don't know. But the little lifters are clear down in there. I don't know if you can see in there. Light it up through the other one. But that's a lifter and it's retained. Oh man, that's turning out good. So anyway, it's retained down in there and you can't get that through that hole because you've got to remember that hole's just a little guy. So maybe I can get it out, but I'm thinking probably not at this point. So we may try doing a motor flush or something instead of pulling the head, and if the motor flush doesn't work, then we'll have to get back in there and replace those lifters. Lifters, you can salvage them most of the time. If you take a lifter and soak it overnight in diesel gas, it'll oftentimes loosen it up to where it'll function properly. These are those little teeny Mitsubishi style ones. To look at them, I'm not positive because I haven't got them out, but they got a little teeny tiny oil porthole on them, and that just gets full of crud. So I'm not saying soak them in diesel gas. You don't fill your whole crankcase full of diesel and then no. I'm saying pull them out so you have it in your hand, soak it in diesel gas. I gotta clarify these things, I'm not kidding. Soak it in diesel gas in a little cup on your workbench, see, like over there, and then you'll be in good shape. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. Moving forward, we're going to do an oil change on this. We're going to flush it. We're going to use, what kind of flush do I recommend? Everybody wants to know what I recommend or whatever. KW is good. Gunk is good. I'm going to be using this bottle right here. What have I got? Pyroil. It doesn't matter. It's a lot of the same thing. What is it? Toluene and a bunch of other stuff in it. So look for the warning label, and they'll usually tell you what it has in it. This one doesn't, so sorry about that. No dice. Want to know another cool product though, just by the by? This stuff is freaking amazing. Seafoam is it. Put it in the tank. You know what's awesome if you tear the carburetor down? Berryman B12 Chem Tool. Not sponsored. I don't get any money from them. I'm just saying that these two products are awesome. You get out of there. Whatever. This is awesome for going in the tank. This is awesome for if you have a carburetor, like say you take the bowl off a carburetor, you spray it out with this, and miraculously the stuff just goes away. All the yellow, all the black, all the crap, all the white flaky stuff, it just gets rid of it. You spray it with some other stupid carb cleaner, some crap like this or a house brand, it doesn't work. It doesn't come off. It's just horribly disappointing. So there's another one somebody gave me. Doesn't work for crap. And you know I like CRC products for the most part. But the Berryman B12 Chem Tool, that's awesome. So there's a plug for them. So look at this thing. It doesn't even look that caked on or that discolored for how crappy this thing is running and doing. Let's check the oil level and see where that's at. I still haven't even done that. I know that the thing said check oil level, but oil level is fine. Oil level's good. It's up to where it should be. It's up to that top hole. If you're low on, it doesn't even look like the oil's that old. It looks like somebody forgot to sticker it who did an oil change on it. I'm going to call him up and say, hey, are you really 5,000 miles overdue? Either way, we're doing an oil flush and you have to do an oil change. Maybe we'll just get her done. Cool. Okay, Sparky, here's the deal. I can see the lifter down in there. It's a nice straight shot, and I'm going to do a motor flush on this critter. Talk to the customer, and you do have to pull the cylinder head just to get the lifters out of here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to try to clean them like a bunch of rednecks from above. I'm going to fill them full of B12 Chem Tool just because it's so ridiculously powerful of a cleaner. And I know from the noise that it's going to be one of these two. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get thorough. I'm going to pull out this one, and I'm going to pull out this one too, and I'm going to clean all of them from above. I'm going to pull that B12 chem tool on top of them. I wish I had a lifter out and ready to go, but basically let me show you what we're dealing with here. No. I put a light up here so that when I go to the whiteboard, you guys can see. Whoa, wasn't that nice of me? Okay, so here's what the lifters look like. When you look at them from above, they've got a little pocket, you know, a little circle thing and whatnot. So then they come down here and they're all shiny and polished, and then it's raw material, and then it's shiny again. And then they got a little hole. I'll do some like shine metal lines so that you think that this is cylindrical. Sometimes words are hard. So anyway, they got a little teeny hole in them, and this is where the push rod goes. So it seats down in here, goes through the hole and back up to the rocker arm, and then the rocker arm goes to the valve. Whoop, 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 like that. So it's like modern art. So anyway, these little holes get full of crud. So if you can fill this full of oil, or not oil, the cleaner, it'll trickle down and help to break that up. And then we'll do the motor flush, and it'll get it from this side. So from both sides we'll be hitting it with some cleaner. And besides, it hasn't had an oil change in a long time, and it's got like 8,000 miles on the one oil change, so that might be a lot of the problem just as it is. So that's the battle plan, and we're gonna get to it. You want to see me squirt one? Oh, yes. All right, so there's one of them. Hit number 2. I'm trying to get it to pool. You ever water a motocross track? You can get it wet and just slick the top of it a little bit, or you can make it pool and it'll really saturate and get in there. That's what's on the brain, is I'm trying to think of puddles, you know, just like you're going on the track with the hose, and you start and you spray it, it looks wet, but you got to get puddles or it won't soak in, and you'll do a couple laps and then you're kicking up dust again. So puddle, you see down in there, so you can see and you can know if you're pooling it or not. Yeah! Get it. So a little bird just landed on my shoulder, not literally, like on the bow hunt. That happened twice in my tree stand. But the little bird said, "You're doing it wrong. You need to put in the push rods and spray down the hole." So that's what I did. I sprayed it down the hole of each of these. Like that. And that seems to make sense. That way you're not overdoing it and putting in more than you intend, but it goes right down the same oil journal that it wants to have flow anyway. So that's what I did. When using motor flush products, be sure to have the oil at proper levels. Do not rev the engine above idle. Do not drive the vehicle while motor flush is in operation. Only flush for a period of 5 minutes at idle. Alright, so I'm running this thing with the motor flush in it and with the cleaners in it. And at first it was really loud. You know, with all that cleaner, it doesn't lubricate very well, it just slapped. Now I can barely hear that ticking at all. I mean, it's almost totally gone. Winning! Oh, that's just sounding so much better. It's going clack, 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 clack. Now it's just about where a normal customer wouldn't even hear it or notice it. I'm so happy.